The evolution of the motorcycle is honestly a fascinating journey of innovation, style, and engineering, stretching all the way from the late 1800s to today's high-tech machines. So here's a concise timeline and overview of the key milestones. First up, the birth of the motorcycle, from the late 1800s to the early 1900s. In 1867 there were steam-powered bicycles, early attempts like Sylvester Roper's steam velocipede. Then, in 1885, the first internal combustion motorcycle appeared. The Daimler Reitwagen, built by Gottlieb Daimler and Wilhelm Maybach over in Germany. By 1901, we saw the first production motorcycle, thanks to Hildebrand and Wolfmüller, also in Germany. 1903 brought the founding of Harley-Davidson right here in the US, and throughout the early 1900s, brands like Indian Motorcycles, Triumph, and Royal Enfield really started to rise. Moving on to growth and war from the 1910s through the 1940s. The World Wars honestly accelerated motorcycle innovation. Think BMW R75 and Harley-Davidson WLA. Motorcycles became absolutely vital for military dispatch and transport during these times. Plus, there was increased use of V-twin engines, chain drives, and gearboxes. Now let's talk about the post-war boom and cruiser culture of the 1950s and 60s. Motorcycles started to symbolize freedom and rebellion, like, Marlon Brando in The Wild One. British bikes totally dominated with brands like BSA, Norton, and Triumph. Harley-Davidson introduced more cruiser-style bikes too, and over in the UK the rise of cafe racers brought in lightweight, fast, and minimalist machines. So in the 1970s and 80s, something huge happened. Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, and Kawasaki just, exploded onto the global scene. In 1969, Honda dropped the CB750, which honestly, was the world's first superbike with its inline-4 engine and disc brakes. Suddenly motorcycles were getting faster, way more reliable, and actually affordable for a lot of people. This era really saw the birth of sport bikes, dirt bikes, and touring motorcycles as we know them today. Moving into the 90s and 2000s, there was a total explosion in technology and style. We saw the introduction of things like fuel injection, ABS, liquid cooling, and aerodynamics started to really matter. Specialized categories started to rise up. Superbikes like the Yamaha R1 and Suzuki GSX-R, adventure bikes like the BMW GS series, and then there were naked bikes, supermotos, and all sorts of hybrids. Plus, there was this huge boom in customization. Choppers, bobbers, and even those cool cafe racer revivals. Now, in the modern era, from the 2010s to today, the focus is all about technology, safety, and, honestly, sustainability. We've got ride-by-wire traction control cornering ABS, stuff that, keeps you safer and makes riding more fun. Digital dashboards, GPS, Bluetooth connectivity, it's all there. And electric motorcycles are seriously growing with brands like Zero Motorcycles, Harley-Davidson Livewire, and Energica leading the way. But, retro modern bikes like the Royal Enfield Classic 350 and Triumph Bonneville are still super popular too. Looking ahead to the future, in the 2020s and beyond, there's talk about autonomous motorcycles which are actually under development right now. We're seeing the expansion of electric infrastructure for motorcycles, which is pretty exciting. Plus, there's the integration of AI, adaptive cruise control, and AR HUDs making bikes smarter than ever. The emphasis is really shifting towards sustainability, lighter materials, and modular design, and, well, it's just wild to think where motorcycles are headed next.